I'm on my way. So, guys, this panel is all about the terrible things that have happened to us over the years, and this started.
I just realized I'm still like on the radio, so I should probably not. I actually have to like record out when I'm not available.
Oh no, I haven't got to do shit. You told me to stop using the radio as much as this.
That's actually not a real radio.
That goes to the specials channel.
Oh my God, there's Skittles in it. You kind of were there since the beginning. This panel came off of something called the FCLR. We used to get together, con chairs, a few board members, and talk about how to run conventions generally. We all have our own ways. I'm a pretty late night con chair, and then I absolutely panic when the hotel goes missing. That was an interesting Wednesday. And then there's Woody, who shoots things. I mean, you're a captain.
No, I never shoot things.
The one.
I have the one time. One time, and you know, that was not a convention. So
would you like to tell them how this all started?
So FCLR, for those who don't know, is the Furry Convention Leadership Roundtable, which is not a governing board in any way, shape, or form. It's just a bunch of masochists, friends who get together because they share a common interest of working together to make all of these things as fun and amazing and awesome as they are. Because at the end of the day, this is all about teamwork. The better small conventions do, the better big conventions do, and everyone learns from each other because we've all got our own, as said here, we've all got our own approach to things, and so we all have our own opinions on what works, and it's kind of nice to get together after these events and say, hey, here's something that I did that completely failed. Please don't ever do this.
Which makes for the best parts of FCLR. So it's like, hey, has anyone ever thought of this? Yes! No! Hotel gone on a Wednesday.
So it turned out that one of the most enjoyable panels of this was convention horror stories, where all the con chairs could kind of get together and share just what has gone oh so horribly wrong in excruciating detail, because some of these things we just really cannot share for legal reasons and you know, because of life.
The amount of convention horror stories that started with, so awful I was drinking. Like, I wasn't even at that con. No. Asshole.
So this is kind of a cool, I don't want to say toned down, but it's just kind of omit some of the names and places and species, so that we can share some of these more entertaining stories with you. At least the stories that make people laugh, because a lot of the ones that get shared at FCLR just kind of make everyone cry. So these are the more entertaining ones rather than the more, oh dear God.
Those are life lesson stories. You don't want those. You have to learn those the hard way.
Become a con chairman. Congratulations. Start a con. It's a great idea.
That's how we're going to start. Scissors. I'm going to start that one off with start convention, okay? I did too, because I made a mistake. So I started working on starting First Square at the fair, a small gathering for a local club. And we would do
I got here like yesterday morning. Friday was that light.
and then we realized that we were breaking zoning laws by having that many people.
No, I'm like talking.
We said, hey, why don't we start a convention?
And I'm going to raid, and I'm far off, and like my lights have gotten.
Email just said, hey, we got it, it's on the line.
Well,
You have
I might drop my
any
Wednesday.
Here's what we're
Like,
thinking.
compared to playing in
We're
person.
sending it back.
Well, with a focus group. Yeah, you put it on a second on TV and it's done.
Cosmic Sands.
Cosmic.
Fucking I printed it out, had him sign it, and sitting in my office at home right now. Next to a kale poster with about 40 signatures on it. Last year. So I look from one and get a extreme pride, look at the other going. So, want to start a time? Fuck you, idiot.
Tail speaker, go.
If I touch that, it's going to explode in the tail. We'll tell the tail story later in the show. I'm not going to just right now. Dennis!
Yes.
Yes. Did you ever have a water feature added in the middle of a hotel?
So, we were at the previous hotel for Indy FurCon, and there's the main hotel lobby was on the main floor, all the convention space was on the second floor, all the hotel space was. And we had our convention operations room, and all of a sudden, started getting a drip in there. It's a little weird. Maybe there's a leak in a pipe or something. Not a big deal. Just put a little trash can under there and told the hotel, hey, there's a bit of a drip. We want to check that out. Went upstairs, closed up shop for the night, and we walked down the next morning, and our hotel liaison comes up and says, "Oh, hey, so how'd you enjoy the waterfall in your con-ops room?" And I'm like, "Well, I wouldn't call it a waterfall. It was like, a couple drips." And she's like, "Oh, I was like, "No." Did the drip become more of a stream? She goes, "Yeah, I agree." Apparently, somebody had decided to turn on the bath because they wanted a nice, relaxing bath, and fell asleep, I think, on the bed while the bath was filling. The water decided to fill past the tub and onto the floor, and drain into the floor below, and to the floor below, and to the floor below, and to the floor below, which was our con-ops room.
Now, if you have pizza being delivered to this panel,
I am not having pizza delivered to this man. You can tell that when you talk about Furfest.
fine.
That's just random stuff I do at you.
Yes.
So, yes, this water had drained from floor 6 all the way down to floor 2, and they didn't find out, and somehow no one had noticed in any of the rooms until, oh, this drip, please go check it out. So they checked, and they checked, and they checked. The good news was not one of our attendees.
As a convention chairman, I'll tell you this, I hope you're getting because when you get news like that, your butt clenches to the point. You're the sexiest motherfucker out there. And then you hear that it's not your problem,
That's what it was. It was like,
I probably should go back.
was it one of ours? And she intentionally waited. She was like, no. Oh.
guys, I'd like to introduce another panelist up here who's trying to hide in the back of the room. Hey, Cody, go off radio and get your ass up here.
For a little bit.
For a little bit. Guys, this is somebody who works his ass off at cons. I haven't given him a title yet. We're going to
Archduke.
Archduke. Oh, Archduke Cody.
Archduke Cody. Hello, Archduke Cody.
Archduke Cody.
Not only our director of programming from FF, but the Midwest Furfest 2017 convention chairman. Yeah! Thank you, Cody. We're all so sorry for your loss.
I'm like extra sorry because of the game.
I also am sorry, yes.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm doing the absolute opposite of what we recommend to all our attendees, and I'm giving you a diet soda for lunch. So, I know, right?
I'm also thinking you're diet soda.
I like your diet soda way better than mine.
Well, we're not switching.
Oh, sir.
So this was also not a problem, but it was a hotel. years ago, what year was it that they had to close down the balconies?
Oh, God! Yes, yes.
Yeah, we had one, like, a couple months before the convention, one of the balconies kind of fell off.
It fell safely into the parking lot.
No, actually,
Onto an
it
organ.
fell onto where we currently have registration. Through the roof and photos, but nobody was there and everyone was fine, so, you know, who needs balconies?
But could you keep that picture and the next time registration has any problems, just have technical difficulties and post that? Maybe the first time you don't get to just bombarded on Twitter like, hey, your registration! Oh! Yeah, best of luck, guys. Best of luck.
Well, so it didn't have, because so for what I do for a living, for work, I get these kinds of things. So it didn't actually pierce the ceiling entirely. It didn't come through into the middle of a floor, but it did, yeah, it came down corner first through the ceiling, kind of left a big, tiny little chunk out of some daylight. So then they had to go check all the balconies and then very quickly shut them all down. And this was like a month before MFF 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
And realized I forgot to pre-reg. Balcony guy.
Balcony guy. I'm here for Reg.
Retirement.
Yes. When we were planning conventions, we don't often figure gravity in. At MCFC one year, our registration system was very well set up. We had 2 computers to input data. We had a computer to type out all the information. We had the badge printers ready. We had all the bags. We had a coat room with this big wooden thing that just dropped down, so we lifted that up to open up, set the computer out, and then the hotel fell on the badge printing computer.
You guys ever seen like a concession stand? You know, you roll up the metal window. They smash.
You want that thing to stay up.
And who was your director at the time? What was his name?
I believe that was Mojo.
Yeah, it was Mojo. This is just Mojo. I'm just gonna be late.
What's going on?
When I know he does. Did Thanksgiving ever happen on a weird day at this hotel? There we go.
Oh no! So we were never. I'm not telling that story, but so there are other conventions that frequent this property, and actually the good news with the Hyatt, this is why I love being here. Apart from the fact that the hotel's awesome, we are not even remotely the worst thing that happens in this hotel. Not even close.
In fact, I think we're one of the best as far as they're concerned.
We really are. That's kind of awesome. So as weird and as crazy as we are, they love us. But do you want me to tell the story? Okay, so the other convention that normally is here, it rhymes with Mason. They have, you know, inside the lobby, all the little open area. It's a nice open area lobby and stuff like that. It would, you know, and don't super serial ever do this. Oh my God, we will find you. There's maybe lots of cameras everywhere for a reason that we won't talk about. But when stuff, way back when in the day, they were lobbing things off of the balconies into the foyer, or foyer, as you say down here, I guess.
It's a foyer.
And
It's a foyer.
Canadian, it's definitely foyer.
Touche, boy. So you're probably thinking, oh no, drink cups. Oh boy, they're probably throwing like lanyards. Maybe they're throwing tennis balls or something. No, what did they throw again? It was a what? A frozen turkey. So the sheer logistics of how you were smuggling a frozen turkey into a hotel, and then, I guess, where do you store it? That doesn't make any sense. Like, unless it's a teeny tiny turkey, this one wasn't. So then where do you store it? And it definitely isn't over the balcony into something glass and expensive, which is where they inadvertently thought it would go. And, oops. So yeah, they did a lot of damage on that one. Other cons...
So we didn't see that when we got to
Yes.
We had one of our giant glass floor panels was just covered up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's such a big thing to order these gigantic, foot thick sheets of glass to replace it.
Right.
That it was months
it's awesome being here because we're compared kind of to that. It's like, oh, somebody maybe chipped a corner of a wall and there's maybe fluff balls of fur or some sort of like tumbleweed floating in the hall. No, they threw a frozen turkey and broke a whole bunch of glass off of it. That doesn't make any sense.
But I'm wondering, didn't it go through the glass overhang over the
Yes.
door and then
Yes.
the glass?
Yeah, it did quite a bit of damage, and I don't know. It's funny because nobody got hurt, I suppose, and maybe it's not funny, but
I mean, it's not funny for the damage.
it's sort of
but
funny.
You have to always find the humor in situations, and my humor for that one comes to the fact that that's right in front of the bar, right?
As a matter of fact, it is.
That means the bartender probably got to experience that moment in his life.
I guess we never figured that out. If anybody was actually at the bar or the restaurant when it went through, I guess maybe they were because it would have been during the convention.
I would think so. And when you really think about it, I mean, bartenders are true professionals, so he's probably sitting there and goes, "May I take your drink, ma'am?" Smash! Crash! Glass! And then his hand went out, and from the shaken shelf,
Shaken, not stirred.
There's a feather in my drink.
I feel bad for the bar patron sitting next to it, just thinking like, oh, I've had too much.
and apparently farted at him.
But I don't know. I just find that funny from a weird perspective. What are you doing with a frozen turkey? Asians in like April. It's not even Thanksgiving.
Can you
Oh,
even
yeah,
buy
yeah.
turkeys outside of Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Well, to throw them off the
Oh,
balcony.
balcony!
Don't do that. Super cereal, don't do that.
They want to be like the next pumpkin chunkin. No, that's not cool enough.
Turkey,
We're gonna
turkey
make
oven.
turkeys fly.
And I just the thing that was, how do you hide from that? It's just like, it's not like you're hidden behind a little box up there and thousands of people aren't in the hotel going, what the hell? Hi.
Well, what was the end game? It's just like, all right, I'm going to do a practical joke. This joke is a success.
Good job for me. Back to my, whatever, I guess it's room.
I'm sorry, what
Ken?
nationality did he just become there?
I don't know. See, I didn't have your special drinks. I'm just drinking for real soda.
Whoever did this must have had too much of your diet soda.
I don't know. Government warning on the back of that. Wow. All right.
Don't look at my government warning.
It's about the aspartame.
Government warning.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Did you give this to Alkali?
Oh,
Warning.
there's a checkbox there, and it was checked. Okay, so yes, there you go. Give it to Alkaline.
Woohoo!
You're set. Don't throw crap off the balconies. We will find you.
I cannot fly, and I will break way more than glass.
You just be a regular turkey instead of a frozen one. So.
I'm imagining, like, okay, you threw a turkey off the
Weirdest mental image of you flying through my atrium.
No, dude, I would not make noise because the gypsy woman said that was how I was going to die. But I can imagine, because there's 4 towers to this hotel, right?
Yeah.
I can imagine him being outside and just looking at his hotel like, this was a good year, and Tower 4 just going, and like, Alkali fell down.
Well, so funny you should mention it because, like, not that long ago, the parking garage that was directly across the street from this hotel had some structural challenges. None of them actually fell, but you know, they had it closed for a bit and had lots of tape on it. And you couldn't go in it, and then you know, they all of a sudden it's cool again. I didn't see what they did to fix it, but they didn't even park over there. Am I hurting somebody's feelings? Okay, so it's great now, by the way. So you're good.
It is fun to hear from the hotel's perspective sometimes, like that just makes us so good about feel so good about our convention. Because sometimes you come in and you go, man, we are freaking weird. We just know all the staff is going to be like, look at these guys. But like at the end of our final session negotiating with the new hotel for IFC and you know, talking about all the we're gonna have all these people in costumes, and you know, this is what they look like and everything, and you know, hope you guys are gonna be fine. And we talked to one of the hotel people, and they're like, "What costumes? No, that's fine. We also host what is the zombie? Horror Hound. We've hosted Horror Hound. Let me tell you something. Ferg, you can vacuum up. Fake blood. We're like, okay then.
Okay, now hold on. I was there for that. They did not say fake blood. They said fake blood really quickly with quotes.
We're assuming.
Is that why my hotel has tarps down for one of their events?
Dude, okay, some stories we don't tell.
Was it DexterCon or DexterCon?
I run First Square in Wisconsin. They host another event at that hotel, the Gaming Classic, which is, they literally ship it. It's very cool. I went just to see how they use their space. I went to see how they utilize space because they have more people than I do. And it's, what do you call those? Upright, old-fashioned gaming things like Mortal Kombat. Arcade, thank you, arcade boxes. So they had hundreds of them in pinball games. They had a whole room of pinball games. I went to them and said, oh, thank you guys so much. You've been wonderful. As always, sorry about the smell in the elevator. She goes, you don't understand. You guys smell like Reeves compared to that kind. Like, what do you mean? She's like, they smell like farts. The person who told me this was an 80-year-old cleaning lady from Lithuania. I can't give the accent properly, so I just want you to imagine that in return. They smell like farts. Thank you. So yeah, apparently you guys aren't the worst.
It's a low bar.
But that's not a challenge. Please don't try to be the worst.
I actually hugged a fursuit yesterday. I don't know what they did, but I hugged them, and it was like I was out on the beach. Like, oh my God. What a panel. Teach them.
It was. I was really nervous when you wanted to run this panel because I didn't want it to be an instructional session on how people could ruin the con.
No.
Someone's in the back writing everything down. Yeah. There's a lot of notepads. You're like, oh, okay, turkey goes off the word side. Okay, great. Northwest corner.
So what you're saying is they're making groceries.
They're sitting down there with like a fireman's basket waiting for it to drop so they can catch it.
They're at the grocery market, frozen turkey, fake blood.
Well, fake blood.
They're the weirdest Amazon recommended things ever.
Amazon recommends you stay home.
And users who also bought this went to jail.
I don't know which kind it was. It was a multi-floor convention, big open space as well. And somebody, don't do it, filled up a balloon to about this size with lube. Yeah, and that in and of itself was
Like
disturbingly disgusting.
proper lube, like silicone lube.
Yeah, so the entire first floor in a huge radius was an ice skating rink. It was unusable for the whole con because like my mother was Polish, so like they had the professional Polish people come and say, oh no, just don't walk there. You're gonna die. We need vodka to clean that up. But that in itself was bad enough. It was the reaction because, I mean, convention. We're running this convention and something's happened. I would sit down at the hotel like, oh, we're very sorry this could happen. How could this have happened? Who did this? Why did this happen? When did this happen? And then it came over to the hotel and like, how did they get that much lube in this? That was their concern! And then I got to sit down and say, I'll never forget it as long as I live. Oh my God, 20-year-old, just out of college, liaison for the hotel. This works for the hotel. Goes, oh, they have pumps for that. They use it for other things besides balloons. Guys, give him a round of applause.
That's only like 2 hours later.
So we're not allowed to put things on badges. Shall we go over some of the greatest badge names that have graced our conventions?
Okay, so I have to admit, I am genuinely shocked and impressed with IFC allowing poop emojis and other badges. It's actually a thing. Like,
Emojis.
you could just be 3 poops.
Somebody's badge name was just poop, 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 poop. Well, that was the big thing. Everyone was like, oh, these emojis are so cool. And we were like, can we get them badges? Yes, we'll put smiley
is it? Nope.
That's a lot of eggplants.
Oh!
Bandit's just got that.
Oh, I just got that. I was innocent.
What?
Okay, I'm lying.
We had a staffer who had, for 2015, he had the most amazing and complex chemical symbol for his badge name. And then once we translated what the chemical symbol was, we had to politely explain he could not have that as a badge name.
What was the chemical symbol?
I think it was chlorine or something. I mean, it was super subtle, like unless you actually looked up the chemical code for it. Yeah.
No, we had FLR Nick 8. And Dragger got drunk one night and let Rakesh use the printer, so he printed himself a badge, Dino Fuckosaurus. That was the first. Now this one, I really actually shouldn't tell this one, but I'll do it to you guys. This was done by a good friend of ours.
I like that you didn't use friend.
No, he's a friend. He's a friend. He went to registration and said, I want this badge, and you have to give it to me or you're being racist. Because he was an African-American gentleman who wanted incognito on his badge. And when they said, no, I'm not printing that, he goes, that's racist. Like, yeah, that's a very racist badge. He goes, no, not printing it would be. And stood there until they did. Yeah, that was, he actually, we asked him not to wear the badge and he didn't. He still has that badge in his pocket. Like that. He flashed it to me earlier today. Woody.
Yes.
You know, you've had some amazing charities here over the years.
We have.
You have.
We have amazing charities every year. I love them all.
Oh, I absolutely do. And sometimes the charities don't really know what they're getting into, right?
I don't know if they ever know what they're getting into, really.
Sometimes they get very into it.
So, our charity last year was phenomenal. Sam Event is an amazing organization, and we had a blast with them. Getting everything going with them was the most nerve-wracking experience, because if you go to their website, it's all about Fox News and it's all about guns in America, and so we're like, well, we really like what they do, and we understand that they're appealing to a core demographic. So, maybe they're not how they portray themselves. Maybe they're open-minded, cool people. We're not going to judge them based on anything without knowing them. So we reached out, and they seemed open to it and excited, and everything seemed to go really well. And then things got a little bit less communicative, and we started to get nervous, and then everything got super communicative, and we're like, well, we don't know what's really going on. And it turned out that there was an internal power struggle going on there between their CFO and their CEO, because their CFO, as he said on closing ceremonies last year, was, hardcore, redneck, NASCAR watching, he was definitely not the average MFF attendee, which is not to say we don't have many MFF attendees like that, but he's just definitely not the average. And so his con experience was definitely eye-opening, along with many of the other people who worked for that organization. And by the end of it, everyone was so into it that they let loose. Like, they had an amazing time. They were so happy to be there. One of the guys had been working hard on losing weight because he was doing rugby, and he was just really sexy rugby bear guy. And so they're like, you've been doing so great with your diet and exercise and building up muscle and bulking up. You've earned it. You get to drink tonight, and we'll take care of you. So it turned out his tolerance was not what it was back when he was in the Marine Corps. And I get this radio call. need. Is anyone from charity on the radio? Our charity director is like, this is a charity. Is there something we can help you with? Yeah, charity. This is security. So we have something. We need. Can you come down to the info desk? Charity's in the middle of a party right now, so charity liaison's like, sure. Is there? Could you clarify what this is in reference to? Our security staffer at that moment was like, we normally would call these guys the charity bears, and because they're cute, chubby guys, they're kind of awesome. We loved them. We all thought they were adorable. They were very cool with it. They liked being called that. So yeah, this is what we're calling them. So he's like, yeah, we have a half-naked charity bear currently laying on top of the info desk. To which, of course, I respond, I'm on my way.
And then they sent somebody more responsible who wasn't just going to take them back to the wrong room. Just running with them in your arms for charity!
The sacrifices we make.
Really quick, all right. Let's go. Just when you have one, raise your hand. Quickly, quick fire. Best things you've ever heard come out over your radio at your conventions. Best things you've ever heard come out or go out over your radio and your conventions. We'll go with for reality first of all. Did anyone put out the fire? Dead radio for 3 or 4 seconds. Con chairman comes on. Do you mean the grill? Please call it the grill. All right, we'll do the same one.
I can't think of any varieties.
Really can't write you.
I've got one.
Go.
Yeah, it has to, of course, be.
Not that one.
Yes, no, they're already asking for it.
We'll do it last. There was also, I don't remember the convention, but from ConScore. Hey guys, we ran out of poppers at the ConScore. Dead radio. I don't know what they're called, so please call them novelty popping discs. Never use that phrase again. This is ConScore. Why? This is security. I'll tell you when you're older. Guys, you really don't have any radio ones?
No, so like the problem is a lot of the radio things that I hear are hilarious inside of my head.
Oh, yeah.
Could someone please tell the con chair to put that sword in his car?
Yes. Or, oh god, at first square. Is Alkali drunk yet? This is Alkali. Yep. This is Dragor. If you're near Alkali, take this radio. This is Alkali. This is Kadazay. Please use the radio for legitimate uses only. This is Alkali. I got a radio and you can. This is Steve. I've got Alkali's radio. This is Alkali. I got Steve's radio.
Since at FCFC we're technically using Zillow for radio communications, this counts.
True.
When suddenly we hear, I don't know what's going on, but my car just started talking to me and I think it's possessed.
I fucking forgot about that. Yours, you tell it. All you.
We tried to use this program called Zillow for radio communications, which was an awful idea. But it was basically the Nextel, push-to-talk thing. We used it for meetings, we used it for radio, we gave it to one of our frequent performers so that he could participate in it. And he was driving his car during a meeting.
That I was not aware of. I also didn't know that this program stays on until you turn it off. And my phone automatically connects to my radio.
He also didn't know that there was a small child that's like, I love you.
My car started telling me it loved me. And I'm driving and I just, I love you too. And they start having their meeting and I have no legitimate idea of what is going on. And I'm trying to figure out how my car has tapped into a spy satellite. And why furries are people of interest. I pulled over my car and then I realized, okay, I'm on the phone, so I can't let this one go. So they're having their meeting like, no, that's a bad idea, but no one knew who was talking. It's like, who's saying these things? Like 5-10 minutes. It's fucking terrifying. Yeah, that was an interesting day. Oh, yes, do it.
It's really a radio call.
That was definitely a radio call at one point.
It was more of a chant.
It was more of a, as we can tell this story, we'll tell
Yeah,
it.
you're good.
It was more of a chant heard throughout the hotel. This was the evening we first did Mistake. MST3K, which if you look at MST3K, it reads Mistake. We learned why it's called Mistake that night. But I did not witness this. This is from the point of view of our head of finance, Todd, at the time. And Todd was adorable, but several people were escorting moi back to my room because I had not the capacity to make it back to my room thanks to Battlefield Earth. But anyway, Todd walks out and decides to go over to see what's going on in more of the convention area of the hotel. And he hears echoing down the corridor, "Drink, motherfudger, drink, motherfudger, drink, motherfudger, drink."
They weren't saying fudger.
And they weren't saying fudger. And he's like 100 feet away from where there should be people, and he's hearing that echo down the hall. He's like, oh. So he walks slowly, and there is this overlook where you can look down at the old hotel into the lobby, and he looks down, and this was when IFC was sharing the convention with some fraternity brothers. So on the one side, after a weekend of them not getting along, suddenly they decided to, through the medium of booze. Because on the one side is all the fraternity brothers, and on the other side is all the furries. And they're all chanting together, "Drink, mother," just, and they are trying to outdrink each other in the friendliest competition ever. There are full suitors with their heads off, and fraternity brothers with the fursuit heads on. And just like, that's a lot of people very loudly drinking in the lobby. And Todd looks up, and there's another overhang on the other side, and our head of security is down there looking at it. It catches Todd's eye, and Todd's just like, head of security, without missing me, just points to the hotel people down at the front. And Todd slowly looks down and catches their eye as they're trying to take pictures of what's happening. He's like, and the response was, apparently the hotel was like, they're finally getting along, just let them do it. So that should have been a radio call, I think, but
It was all
it was,
pantomime.
yeah,
you can't really pantomime on the radio, it doesn't work well.
Here's an interesting fact for a lot of you. Depending on your security team, it really depends. A lot of us up here use Doorside or Virgin Doorside. Some of them have been part of Doorside. And they learned one thing very early on, that's don't tell us anything. We never find out exactly what happened until the end of the con because we're con chairman and they don't want us to kill ourselves. Like the call that went out over the radio from a cleaning woman at Surf Square who decided that she was not going to have anything to do with a specific room because when she went in, Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, how do you set up a stripper pole in a room? With a drill. We had a drill and a stripper pole from the bottom to the top of the room. This was Saturday morning. They told the hotel told security. Security told the attendee gracefully apologized and offered to leave her all the damage. And on Sunday, security told me I went to a hotel, and I am standing there talking to the hotel, apologizing profusely for the stripper pole that's in the room, and I hear a little giggle from behind me, and I turn around, and it's the guy who put up the stripper pole coming to apologize to me. As I'm talking to the hotel about the stripper pole, and he's like, I've got to go. And I politely took his hand and walked into another room. That's why security doesn't tell us stuff at the con, because then we want to murder attendees.
We actually had a similar issue with housekeeper, except that it was one of those, I don't know if you guys have ever had this situation, and I definitely hope you haven't, but it was one of those situations where the housekeeper walked into the room and then turned around and left the room, and then found the house phone and called security, who then immediately called police. So we were like the fourth level of person who was notified, because apparently there was blood everywhere. Just everywhere. She was quite confident someone had been killed in this room. This poor scarred woman. And it turned out that actually it was quite innocuous. Someone had just cut themselves and in their drunken stupor was trying to clean up the blood and sort of spread the blood to everywhere. And of course, having not called the hotel to let them know, and if you ever make a mess in your hotel room, please just call the hotel right away. Let them know while everything is wet. They will not openly judge you, and they will take care of it. But no, this blood is set overnight, so there was blood everywhere.
There's pictures. Hey, Des.
Yes.
You can tell this story. Did there ever an incident at your hotel at IFC with a panhandler? Do you know this one? Don't make me tell it. It's more fun if you tell it.
I don't know all the details, I just know that it happened.
Oh, okay.
The door side, being the awesome people that they are, didn't tell me that this happened, like in full detail. I actually heard it from another person at this table who knows the story better, somewhat.
There were a bunch of police at our hotel because we were throwing a very large event in Indianapolis, and they wanted to make sure everything was okay. They knew security was there, so they went to security sitting in the office. Do you know you have a panhandler in your lobby collecting money right now? And all of security stood up like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, there's some guy sitting out there telling stories and just putting money into a top hat. Would you like us to apprehend him?
Yes.
Escort him off the premise?
Yes.
To which Remy goes, not till I get my camera ready. And I was partially detained for panhandling. Until they go, no, that drunk fucker is our director of finance. I was pretty impressed with their ability to take a joke way too far. Hey, Woody, what's the most entertaining thing that happened this year?
This year.
This year.
So there have been a lot of entertaining things that have happened this year, and some of them are funny because they're awkward, and some are awkward because they're funny. But I think my favorite so far was actually an IP issue. So Midwest Furfest, of course, is trademarked and whatnot, and you can't use our logo without permission. And so someone decided on the internet that they would like to use our logo without permission to, sell panties. So we got notified online that you can buy Midwest Furfest panties on Amazon, and we checked it out, and of course, 3 of our staff members immediately bought them.
Hopefully on Smiled on Amazon.
Yeah, of course.
Nice, Des. Used or new?
No, brand new. This company just randomly took images off the internet from companies and whatnot, and so we had to send our legal team after them to stop sale of Midwest Furfest panties, which of course upset the staff members who had already bought said Midwest Furfest panties. It turns out that Off-World Designs is amazing, and if you really want your logo on anything, they're happy to do it. So we let our staffers know if they really needed Midwest Furfest panties, they would provide them for them. So I think that's the funniest thing I've had to deal with this year, because it's not actually harmful. It's just amusing / legal deals with it, not me.
The funny thing is, I love that, like he said, and we had to send our legal team after them. Our legal team is me in a t-shirt with a sword going to your house. Your legal team has a 3-ring binder. I have medieval weapons training.
Fair enough.
And no. I don't drive while I'm drunk. I would take the bus. The bus to your house. Ed, let's entertain you.
For this year?
I'll let you go back a little bit farther because you were pretty drunk this year.
Yeah.
I was at both of your cons.
Yeah, whose fault was that?
Me.
Anyways,
I take care of board members because they take care of me.
I had a really fun incident at FCN when I was working that as director of operations, where some friends of mine called me and said, "Did you know the radio station was going to come to your con?" And no, we did not. They wanted to come, and it was the zoo crew, you know, the people who would like play farts on the radio and get laughs. And they were going to come laugh at the freaks at the furry convention. So, to which Gert Hygren, who was our great chairman, got in touch with the radio station, made sure that that was not going to happen. And this was a morning zoo crew, so guess what happened anyways? They were told by the hotel and by us, you are not allowed inside the property, so they just set up in the parking lot. And I was very proud of the fandom, because there are a lot of recordings on their program of, so what's going on in the hotel? I'm not going to tell you. So what's this furry thing? Nope, not interested. I heard you guys just screw in there. Nope, not talking to you. So that was great. We decided anyways that we did not want them there. And as they tell it on the radio, 2 large men with beards came out to find us. Again, the Dorsai are wonderful people. And they were all large men with beards. And kilts. I believe one of them did have a kilt. Being a radio program, they went and tried to make a program anyways, playing audio of our attendees dismissing them, audio of them being thrown out. And then they took calls. One of the calls was a couple that was in the hotel looking to set up a wedding, and I actually talked to this couple during the weekend, so they thought everything was cool and they thought it was rather interesting. One caller was a attendee that wanted to explain what furry was, and did a decent job, but they weren't interested. When the other kid tried to explain what that was, that poor person became the target of all of the radio station's confusion and frustrations. This happened again this year. Was it Riff, or was it this year?
I don't know.
We had a radio station want to come again, and they thought they would come make fun of the furries. This time we were ready, we were going to supervise them, which is why they promptly slipped away from us. They took photos, secret photos, like, here's my camera and my coat, you know, I don't have a camera, talking to a transvestite and saying, on, was it Instagram or Snapchat or something, just posting a picture saying, it's a man. And the wonderful response from said crossdresser was, I'm sorry I confused your dick. We didn't do anything on the radio.
Des,
Yes.
favorite con horse. We've got about 7 minutes.
Oh, okay, so we have a quick one. Probably hypothermia kidney.
Holy shit, dude!
What?
I mean, that's noble, all right. You're digging deep.
I'm digging. I'm not touching that one. Yeah. So, for those who don't know, Indy FurCon is in August, which is very hot, especially in Indiana. And we had our lovely convention there at a hotel, and we had a storm roll through. And it was raining, and the temperature suddenly dropped. So just randomly, it was still not like cold, it was not 30, but it was like probably like 40, 50 degrees-ish, compared to like the 100 degrees that it had been. And a suitor had been dancing up a storm in the dance, and decided, okay, I need to go outside and cool off because it was just way too hot. And was wearing a lot of lycra, spandex stuff. So immediately after being super overheated, decided to walk outside, and it was very cool, and there were sprinklers going off, and they got wet and cool very, 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 very quickly, and went into hypothermic shock. Now we had an ambulance there in like a couple of minutes. Doris and I were taking care of them. But we walked down the next morning. We're like, oh, any incidents? And like, yes, there was a case of hypothermia. And we're like, you mean hyperthermia? Nope. Someone had hypothermic shock in August in Indianapolis because somehow we ruined everything.
Apparently physics too. Oh my god.
Physics? Screw that. We screw everything else. Why not physics?
Alright, it looks like we got time for one more. So we've told a lot of stories over the years. Who here has not been to this panel before? Who's a virgin to this panel? Oh my god. So guys, I'm going to just listen for it. What story should we tell them that you have heard before? What convention horror story would you guys like to hear for our final story?
Oatmeal.
I've got either kale and oatmeal. No, that one's actually mean, so we don't tell mean stories. So that one's actually. All right, I hear kale and oatmeal. Which one are we doing? You know what? Hold on. Yeah, I might be able to. Here we go. We're gonna do it fast, I think. I'm gonna power kale. I run a convention called First Squared, and at one point during First Squared, I was running Whose Line Is It Anyway? I had forgotten some of my material, so I needed to leave the room, leaving Dragor in charge of the panel. And when I got back to the panel, the inside joke had been kale. I don't know exactly how it happened because I wasn't in the room, but they kept using this joke over and over. Kale. I don't fucking like kale. Kale's stupid. Why does this joke exist? So I, of course, complained about said inside joke, which means it followed me around all weekend. People were yelling kale at me. People bought me kale. People made an effigy of me out of kale.
This is true.
People bought me t-shirts of kale. People bought me kale. And finally, we got to closing ceremonies. We did all of our announcements. One of the last things you do at closing ceremonies is talk about next year's theme. I said, well, guys, it's time to talk about next year's theme. And all of a sudden, from the front row, I hear kale. Kale. And the whole room.
Yes, we kale. Yes, we kale. Yes, we kale. All kale the chief. All.
I have been performing for years in and out of the fandom. My key role in performing is usually controlling an audience. That's why I do the improv show. I had no control! And as they're chanting, kale, 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 I turn around to my board of directors and say, we've got a problem. Because it wasn't going to stop on its own. And as best I couldn't think what's the only thing that we could do besides placating them that's going to make this stop. A board meeting. And we had an emergency board meeting at closing ceremonies on main stage. We huddled up, and my director of operations just started crying. My director of programming, what do we do? And my director of logistics went, you fucked now. We turned around and said, next year, all right, instead of having, the joke wouldn't have been good. How could it possibly stay good for a year? You'll all forget about it, but that's okay. We're going to have the kale ball next year. Like we did the theme. We had the kale ball the next year, and it got worse. The kale joke still is alive today. I fucking hate it. Stop. 1 minute. Guys, Woody's got to take off. Is there anything in this room right now?
I actually don't know.
Somebody look at the schedule for me. Is there anything in this room that answers? Yeah. If not, if there is, I think we'll tell one more.
There is nothing else in this room.
There's nothing else? Okay, all right, we'll make this fast. You have another panel. Kids, you guys, this is one of your conchair. All right, we're going to end this one off. Oh, God.
Do we want to truly story?
Guys, who here, I mean, there's literally nothing in this room, right?
No, there's nothing else in this room. The next, all the panels that started at 3, there's nothing between that and closing ceremonies. So.
Do you guys want to continue the panel? All right, here's what we can do. We do have more. Yeah, seriously, guys, it's a normal convention. If you have panels to go to, please, like, we're not going to take any offense. Please go to another panel. And that being said, guys, we're con-chairmen. We do a lot of work with the charity. I have a very specific rule about stuff like this. You guys are here. You paid for a badge. You paid to be entertained. You paid to have a good time with this weekend. And it's amazing that you support the convention. If you can support the charity, that's great. If you can't, we're furries. We all as a community took care of it. Never feel obligated to the charity, but we can do. So we're going to continue this panel, and while it's continuing, we're going to throw this out there. Guys, everything that ends up in this hat goes to charity. We're going to just keep going until we stops.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we're going to keep going.
Or about quarter to closing ceremonies, because I do want to find out all the numbers.
I have to be in closing ceremony.
Security, we have handler, DFW.
Guys, thank you so much for your generosity. So, the hat will make it to the back of the room, guys. All right, so, you want me to finish the Kale story, really?
So, what made the Kale story continue on for another year? I think it was another thing that happened at closing ceremonies. This is why it started it.
It didn't start at closing ceremonies. At First Square, the very next year, at opening ceremonies, Kale came up again. Yep, here's one of them. People started wearing badges like this. Keep calm and hail the Kale. There was Kale to the Chief badges. Turn around, show them that one. My face on a Kale button. Gifts constantly for Kale. At the super sponsor dinner, it is traditional for con chairman to give a speech to super sponsors at some conventions. Directly after giving the speech, thanking my attendees for joining me at my convention, they presented me with a gift, which was my dinner. Hotel staff was informed that I was not allowed to eat anything else until I finished my salad. It was a pile of Kale. I don't think you're envisioning this properly. There was so much Kale on that plate, it had a lid over it. When she lifted the lid, it blossomed. And they cheered until I ate it. It was the healthiest weekend of my life. And stuff like this kept happening. And there was a very specific button. Very specific. Do you have one? You have one too?
The Kale Erotti pin.
Months before my con, a Twitter account started up called the Kale Erotti. And the Kale Erotti was obviously a movement in the fandom to get more Kale and more conventions, namely First Square.
I don't know why.
Not there. Don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead. So, I started seeing these buttons everywhere. Attendance, on potted plants. And as I'm walking around, on hotel staff. Now, me and my hotel staff get along very well. I have a clause, actually, because the hotel that I go with, corporate says, like, if they're having an event, you may go in there and do water, but you give them their space. In my contract, it specifically says that corporate cannot tell you that. They go to all of my panels that they want to. Some of them actually come back during their off hours just to play Artemis and be weird in panels with us, and they have a great time, and every fucking one of them had a kale pin. They pointed it out to me. The cleaning ladies would be walking past, like, "Hi." At the charity auction, an event, especially at my own convention, I find very difficult to do because I do this for the charity. It's just something that I love more than anything else. They had a painting covered up. Sorry, it wasn't even a painting. I think it was just a board about this big. Something about this size, but it was obviously a picture. They had a picture. They took the sheet off and took the microphone from me and said, "All right, we're selling this," and it was the original artwork of the Kale Arati logo with the trademark. This is a trademarked logo that they did, and whoever bought the painting then owned the symbol. And I immediately bid $300 to make this. And the audience immediately bid $500 to stop me from stopping. I bid everything that I could, and you stopped me. And that is when, I forget the group, but they all had t-shirts made. There's a group that shows up to my convention now in white t-shirts with kale on them. And they torment me and make me want to cry. And I love them all to death. They are the sweetest people out there. And the entire weekend I had to deal with this kale bro. Whole fucking weekend. Until closing ceremonies. Now, as some of you know, myself and this gentleman over here are part of the Three-Headed Monster. We've been performing together now for, I think it's 4 years. I think this is our anniversary. About 4 years. My board of directors, we have a rule, we cannot nominate friends, but my board of directors also preceded me because when my other gentleman nominated him and it was unanimous with my abstaining, he became our guest of honor. And Des did an unbelievable job. You were seriously one of the greatest guest of honors I've ever had at a convention for the ultimate occasions. Until it came to closing ceremonies. Before closing ceremonies, we have a meeting. That's actually where this gentleman is right now. Closing ceremonies pre-meeting is incredibly important because you talk about what you're going to talk about, what you need to do. And during this meeting, we were totally distracted by the fucking Kale Arati Twitter account, which was going crazy. And we knew something was going to happen at the closing ceremonies, and we didn't know what. And my board of directors is terrifying. You know, like, oh, they're gonna do the chant again. They're gonna try to take over next year's theme. It's gonna be Kale. Oh, Kale, we need contingents planned. And we spent half of our meeting planning contingents for fucking vegetables. So finally we got on the stage, we did the spiel, and it came time to thank people. We thanked our guests, we thanked our staff, we thanked our volunteers. And then I went to thank my guest of honor. Stand up and talk.
So I went up and I went up to shake Aka's hand and say, oh, thank you so much. It's been a great experience. I can't imagine, being guest of honor at such an amazing convention. It's been so fantastic. I loved the Kun theme that you had. I mean, seriously, how you integrated something like that throughout the entire convention for everyone to enjoy. How could anyone possibly do something like that? All hail Kale. And the entire crowd who had the button just all stood up. All hail Kale.
200 con attendees at the same time with the same symbol, obviously premeditated. And my entire board of directors.
If I remember correctly, let's pick it down.
Stood up. All hail Kale. All hail Kale. That's gotta say. One of my board of directors who betrayed me.
And I turned to Alkali. And I was wearing a vest, and I opened the vest, and there's a whole string of the buttons inside. Showed it to him and, gotcha, bitch!
He started the Calorati Twitter account. He had hundreds of badges printed. He got this fucking legitimized. And that's when I knew I had the greatest guest spot of it. Help me out because I'm not actually that good in NASCAR, but I remember it was that. What's the full name? Cale Yarborough. Yeah, Cale Yarborough. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, the Cale thing hasn't stopped.
I just love that Jack Larry you were giving him the whole time.
Oh, he earned it. Okay. No, I never finish about all this.
It's 4:10.
Okay, guys, this is Ed. He's got to get on shift. Give him a round of applause. All right.
Shall we tell the old story?
Huh? I know.
This is my last one, actually. I keep it around just in case I need to.
Remind me. There's a lot of hidden signals at conventions, by the way, radio especially. Hidden hand signals that we have, there's always... We all know what it means, hopefully you don't. Of course, there's me and that goes, this is just for us.
The IFC vomiting unicorn. No idea why that exists, but it does, and it's glorious.
But there's also times where you need to keep everything in code. For your safety, legal reasons. Codes exist for constant reason. And they should be subtle. I wish he was still here because he was helping us. There's another gentleman walking around, Duncan Takaza. You'll see them around. They do a huge amount of work for conventions. If you see them, if you know who they are, give them a thank you as something evil from do that kind of work, and he can attest to this. You need it. We all decompress in our own ways. And usually for board members, for chairmen, the decompression has to happen on the floor. You don't really get a chance during the day to walk away. So you find your friends, you rely on them, and you decompress together. This particular day, I was working back of house in Con Suite, or as I call it, the living nightmare, which is the soda machine. For those of you who haven't had soda at this convention, have you tried to go your soda machine? Yeah. That thing is the devil. And it hates you. I was yelling at it. There's a freezer in the back room, a locking fridge that's basically soundproof that I go into every 20 minutes and scream. Fuck that soda machine. So I had been dealing with soda machine. We just call it soda machine problems. It came cold red on me. I was sticky. Normally I would, not cold red sticky. Duncan and Takaza had been dealing with road issues, and Woody, who was finance that year, was dealing with a plethora of issues. And we all needed to decompress at the same time. So they came back of house. When we can go back of house, it's a good place to go. We were sitting there. And for some reason that year, the radio had a weird call that would go out on it every once in a while. Someone would just into the radio say, DuckTales. And someone would respond with, woo! I don't know if they still have it, but for a short time at this convention, there was a radio etiquette department whose sole job was to shut me up. And others like me. And basically at this point, we were at slap happy o'clock and decided not to listen to him. So it was DuckTales, woo! This is radio, guys. Let's keep chatter to a minimum. Not furry tails or other tails, but DuckTales. Guys, this is radio. let's keep the chatter to a minimum. Something about a hurricane, DuckTales. And this was going on in the radio. And we're kind of laughing in the back room, and radio etiquette is gone. We can use these things for anything now. And we're laughing pretty hard, so Duncan picks it up, and he's like, oh my God, what are other theme songs from old cartoons? We were singing Gummy Bears, and I mean, all the old stuff. And as we're sitting back there decompressing, we're laughing with each other. We're feeling better. There was a bowl of dried oatmeal on the side of the counter. And as Woody was laughing, he turned around and just bumped it. And the oatmeal spilled on the ground. You've got brooms, it's not a big deal. I kind of smiled at him. And I grabbed my radio. I was like, guys, it's Southline. Woody has spilled the oatmeal. Woody, Duncan, and Picasso went white as ghosts. Radio chatter stopped instantly because security turned off all channels except for my radio. Alkaline, where has the oatmeal been spilled? Now! In my general vicinity. At that point, Takasa finally breathed for the first time, and Woody fell off the counter, holding his sides, rolling around in the oatmeal. Woody is covered in oatmeal! Security came back. We do not understand! Where is the oatmeal? And I sensed some urgency in their voice. Takasa, out of breath, said words I'll never forget in a very stressed voice. Oatmeal is going for money. I had just radioed the entire convention that Woody, the head of finance, had spilled money everywhere. And that he was covered in it. And that it was in my general vicinity. And I'm Jewish. I was not allowed an MFF radio for 2 years. And like he told you, this one's probably filled with Skittles. Guys, people put a lot of time and effort into running furry conventions. We love telling these stories because they are funny. And we tell them to you not only to entertain, but as a reminder. Have fun, but don't fuck around because it drives us fucking crazy.
Tell the butter story.
No, guys, this panel happens at multiple conventions. I believe closing ceremonies is within, what, an hour and a half?
That's in a half an hour.
Half an hour?
We can check that.
Yep, I do need to get backstage for closing ceremonies, and I need to get the... guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Don't forget closing ceremonies is a very important deal. So, my name is Alkaline, this is Furfest, everybody good
I forgot the mic, but I'm gonna do it. Still. But still, like I said.